This is a fact. Aaron Rodgers is the greatest thrower of the football in the history of the NFL.
History.
Bar none.
Of a fear because he can extend the plays, which brings more people into the play. So I wouldn't want to play against Aaron Rodgers.
How's it going, guys? I'm KTO, and before we get started, I just had to talk about my playoff predictions. After receiving a bunch of criticism over my picks, I got the AFC and NFC championships both correct. And one of the big reasons to that is the man himself, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. He received a ton of hate early this season. People were calling him out, saying that he's not elite anymore. And his response to that? Since week 11, 24 touchdowns and 1 interception. And then so far in this playoffs, he just dismantled the Giants and the Cowboys defense, ultimately leading Green Bay to the NFC Championship. So without further ado, onto the video. Aaron Rodgers, the king of the Hail Mary. Rodgers has received a lot of criticism over his career because of the high expectations set by the media and having to take over after the legacy set by his predecessor, the great Brett Favre. I want you to understand that this video isn't arguing that Rodgers is the greatest quarterback. I just want you to understand what makes him so unique and special. So first off, let's talk about his staggering skill set. He can flush out of the pocket and throw the ball on the money off his back foot and makes it look like he's not even trying. This can be accredited to his rare arm strength. Did you know when Rodgers was at the Combine, he threw the fastest pass of any quarterback over the previous 7 years? With a rocket for an arm, he also has a lightning quick release, which only takes about 35 hundredths of a second. Then on top of that, Aaron Rodgers is the most natural passer I've ever seen. His throwing motion is effortless. He can twist and contort his body and still make any throw. Did you see that final pass in the game versus the Cowboys? I mean, my goodness, he threw a dime across his body, which then set up the game-winning field goal. Then he also has excellent footwork and maneuverability. He is one of the masters at making something out of nothing. His 40 time is 4.71. which is only a tenth of a second slower than Cam Newton. Although the 40 doesn't actually tell the entire story here. He is incredibly quick to react to the blitz and able to flush out of the pocket. Combine all these athletic traits and it seems you can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. Since becoming a starter in 2008, he leads the league in passer rating and touchdowns on plays when being blitzed. Although we have seen athletic phenoms in the past. So here are the intangibles that set Aaron Rodgers apart. His football IQ. Aaron Rodgers notices the little things. Against Dallas on the opening drive, he noticed that Dallas was trying to make substitutions on 3rd down. So he got everyone up to the line as quick as he could and snapped the ball. Essentially a free 5 yards. And he is known for doing this sort of thing all the time. You can't get away with substitutions on defense when you're playing against him. I saw this play when they were playing against Dallas where he was counting the number of defensive players. And once he noticed 12, he hurried his team to the line, ultimately forcing Dallas to call a timeout. Then on top of that, Rodgers has a niche for navigating the pocket. His pocket presence, combined with his athletic ability, is the best in the NFL. Against the Giants in the wild card, Rodgers danced his way around the pocket all night. And then there was that touchdown pass where he tap danced around for what seemed like an eternity, eventually rolling left and finding his man in the end zone. So along with all his athletic traits and his football IQ, the last thing I want to talk about is his ability to deal with the pressure. This ranges from in-game pressure to dealing with adversity. Let's start with the latter. Coming out of college, Aaron Rodgers was predicted to go to his hometown team, the San Francisco 49ers, with the #1 overall pick, but on draft night, he wasn't drafted #1 overall. He wasn't picked in the top 5, top 10, not even the top 20. Rodgers ended up being selected 24th overall to the Green Bay Packers. And like I said in my opening statement, they still had the man himself, Brett Favre. Rodgers became the pity of everyone when he fell so drastically far that night. And that can be a major loss of confidence to someone when that happens. And things weren't too peachy between Favre and Rodgers.
My contract doesn't say I have to get Aaron Rodgers ready to play. Now, hopefully he watches me and gets something from that.
To top that off, Favre retired in 2007, only to change his mind and expect to get his job back after the legacy he had in Green Bay. The Packers decided to stick with Rodgers, but the fan base wasn't on the same page by any stretch of imagination. So now Rodgers has to prove to the front office why they made the right decision, be the guy who replaces one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and try to win a fan base over that wasn't necessarily behind him. Not only did Rodgers do that, but he did it at an elite level. His second season as a starter, he became a Pro Bowler. A few seasons later, he was named the Super Bowl MVP. And don't forget he won the MVP also during his career. He possesses all the traits you want in a guy in a do-or-die situation. This season, after 10 games, with his team at a mediocre 4-6 record, and questions about him being elite, Rodgers responded with one of the greatest stretch of games in NFL history. Since Week 11 and through their divisional playoff game, he has 24 touchdowns and only 1 interception. Bear in mind, he didn't have Randall Cobb at the end of the regular season, and Jordy Nelson only played in the first quarter of their wildcard game, and didn't play in their divisional game. Rodgers is a man on a mission, and there's no defense in football that can slow him down when he's playing like this. If the Packers lose, it won't be because of him. So thank you for checking out this video. I'm excited for these last few games, and I hope you are too. With the end of the season rapidly approaching, I want to hear what you guys think I should do in the offseason. I have a ton of ideas ready, and I'm excited to use yours as well. So have a good one, and I'll catch you on my next video.